definitely an employable resume. This resume, this person started out in 2012 in law firms, and they've been working. Okay, so this is a fairly common type of resume. For whatever reason, this attorney, there's a lot of good things about it, but the things that you have to always ask yourself is, can you do the job long term? Can you be managed? Do you want the job? For whatever reason, when this person graduated in 2009, their first job was as a law clerk for it looks like the state court. And then they went to work in government, another government office, and then they did one associate job for a little over a year, and then they did another job for 4 years, which was good. And then they went to another law firm for 5 months, and then another law firm for 4 months, and then another law firm for 2 months, and then another law firm for contract. Okay, and then now they've been this. Then they went to another law. My sense is this person doesn't like law firms, which they are part of the club of a lot of people that don't. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that I see here, though, is this person really, and again, be careful with the spacing and stuff. You can see here, my program's picking up these spacing issues. So always be careful with all that, and make sure you do this. I think in terms of a loose resume, the problem is with all these jobs, someone's not probably going to not want to, is going to have a difficult time hiring you, because they're not going to know if you want to stick around. And I don't know why you don't like sticking around. It may just be the atmosphere, the kind of people you're working with. And certainly you wouldn't be the first person not to like law firms or do well there or feel happy. And that's perfectly fine. What I would recommend is it seems to me like you actually enjoy government jobs the most, or working in attorneys' offices and so forth, or judges. And it seems like you've had very good experience doing that and you've lasted a long time. I would recommend creating something very similar to what this person did, which is just really a great example for us all. They talk about their law firm experience. And I would just say, between these dates, I've worked in several law firms where I got experience, and then try to lead with the main type of experience where if you worked in insurance coverage or workers' compensation, just talk about the different type of experiences that you had in those law firms, and maybe try to come up with something consistent. Maybe it's litigation, and I would just put law firm experience, government experience, and then maybe your most recent employer or something. And you weren't even really there very long, so I would do that. And then people need to stop doing this stuff like putting in pro bono certificate. I don't know what the client counseling competition is, but I would list that. I don't know that it's a good idea to always list the study abroad stuff on. It's fun stuff, and these create great memories, but they're also a sign that typically that your parents are willing to pay a lot of money or someone wants to do that for you. But other than that, you have editor-in-chief looks great, all this other stuff. And then if you're applying for jobs in Virginia, you can list Virginia. If you're applying for jobs in Virginia, though, do not list Colorado. So a lot of people think that law firms and stuff would be interested in that, but it actually hurts you, because it shows that you tend to be interested in different types of things. Yeah, it's been working and I don't know where you are right now. Oh, this is in Colorado. Okay. Well, yeah. So if you're going to stay in Colorado, then by all means, list Colorado. But if you're applying for jobs in Virginia, I don't know that I would put on Colorado. People can always check. And then I like all this stuff here, by the way, you're on the Environmental Commission and all this stuff. It just seems like you're very interested in government related work. So that's what I would do. And then all these positions, I would do what I can to limit them to some extent, to make sure that you don't doesn't look like you've had so many jobs, because makes it too risky for people to hire you. And your licenses, most of the time, if you've been an associate in a law firm, they know you were admitted there. So a lot of times there's no reason really to put that on there, if you want. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is great information here for a cover letter right here, but that's really the only place that you need it. So I would put it in your cover letter. And so this is all here. One of the things I just wanted to show you, I'm just noticing some things right here. When you're writing these paragraphs and so forth, everyone needs to make sure that I just noticed here, like business related, just need to fix, all this stuff. However, and stuff. And so when people are hiring you, it's probably going to actually Commerce place, yeah. When people are hiring you, they're most interested in whether or not you can do the job. So there's nothing, regardless of where you go to school, you don't want to draw attention. You can just put down that you don't have to say it was APA credit on that date. The problem with all this stuff is that most employers get a lot of people applying for every job. So you just have to be very careful. You don't want to draw attention to negatives. And so I don't know the history of Thomas Jefferson Law School, if it was accredited and wasn't accredited. In California, for those of you that aren't from here, you have law schools that are accredited, which means I guess you can practice anywhere in the country. And then there's ones that aren't accredited, and some of them lose their accreditation. They get it back. And I don't even know. And there's rules here about spelling things out, but I don't even know what that means. But I do know that means that maybe it wasn't accredited at some point. So I wouldn't draw attention to that. I would just say Juris Doctorate, whatever that date is. And then a lot of the stuff, you can just say Bachelor of Arts in English Literature, but it doesn't, again, you want as few lines as possible on your resume, few stuff as possible. People don't care about your high grades. I don't even know what a 4.0, 4.1, 4.3 means. So just leave that stuff off. Don't draw attention to the fact that the firm, that your school may have been accredited, not accredited. You don't need to put your grades on your resume. And you don't need, you're putting all these direct dates like July 29th, August 19th. You can just say August and then December, like you did here. You didn't say the exact December date. Then you can say something about family. No one cares about your work at La Quinta or as a hairstylist. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't put hairstylist on there at all, even though you did it for a long time. The problem is, like, even though it's good that you've had all this exposure to the public and so forth, there's no reason to, anything else. So I like this resume. I think that you should definitely be able to get a position, and especially in family law. And that would be what I would do. So I would make this whole resume deal with family law. I would remove all this stuff at the top and these punctuation errors. I would run it through software, and I would make sure everything points to family law. And the big thing that I would say about this particular resume, like this resume is probably the education's better, the experience is better, but this person's done a lot of different things here. And then this person, if you clean this up, you can make your resume look like, because you said, similar to my previous position. So I'm assuming you were doing family law related things. And I just would say family law clerk. That's it. And that's it. So making yourself just look like a family law attorney is going to help you. Okay. This is a foreign resume. I don't want to spend a lot of time on foreign resumes. I did last week. I talked a lot about them, but again, everyone needs to go through and proofread these things or run out through grammar checking software.